Struggling to quit sugar, but those cravings keep coming back? You are so not alone. Welcome to the human race. Sugar is addictive, but fortunately there are plenty of snacks that are delicious, satisfying, and healthy that can help you stay on track. And in today's video, I'll share with you my top 10 snacks to help you slay that sugar dragon. And be sure to stick around until the end because number one might surprise you. Hey everyone, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger, and you are watching Keto Without the Crazy, where I help to make keto diets realistic, simple, and sustainable. Before we get into those top 10 snacks, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more tips on how to do keto without the gimmicks or confusion. I'll start that snack countdown in a minute, but before I get into that, I want to talk more broadly about snacking in general. When you think about it, a snack is really just a small meal, right? It's a little meal. So why are we needing to eat a little meal in between our big meals? If you feel a need to snack in between meals, that tells me that there's something a bit off about your meals. Maybe you're just not eating enough. Maybe the quantity of food you're eating is not enough to sustain you and keep you going for several hours until you feel hungry again. Or maybe the types of food, what you are actually eating is causing a blood sugar crash, or just it's not keeping you satiated in some other way. So if you find yourself snacking between meals, give that some consideration. Do you need to revisit what your meals consist of, whether it's in quantity or quality? And if you're snacking out of habit, just because we're so accustomed to it, there's a piece of something on the desk. Oh, I'll grab this while I'm walking by. Habit snacking is totally different. Totally separate topic. I might have to do a video on that some other time. But if you are actually hungry, again, that tells me you're just simply either not eating enough or what you're eating is not working well for your body, because you should be able to go at least a few hours comfortably before your next meal. Comfortably meaning you don't feel physical hunger and you're not really craving anything. You just kind of go through until you get hungry again for another meal. That being said, it is okay to snack. I want to be very clear about that. Snacking is like, it's almost a sin in the keto world. It's almost this badge of honor of how long you can go without eating, right? We glorify fasting so much. It is okay to snack, but I want to, plant the seed in your mind. Why are you snacking? Is it just habit, or are you actually hungry? And if you're hungry, do we need to alter something about your larger meals? Let's get into it. These are in no particular order except number one. I did save the best for last. So counting down, number 10, how about hard-boiled eggs or deviled eggs? To me, they're kind of the same thing. Eggs are such a great nutritional powerhouse. Even when prices rise, eggs are still a dynamite bargain for the nutritional punch that they pack, right? Great source of healthy fat, excellent source of protein, tons of vitamins and minerals. And you can flavor them with whatever you want, whatever herbs and spices, a dollop of mayo. Maybe you've got some wasabi sauce. Maybe you've got some spicy hot sauce, whatever you like. Again, you can either make deviled eggs out of them, or if you're like me and you're too lazy to even bother making deviled eggs, just have a hard-boiled egg, peel it, put some mustard on it, or some hot sauce, sugar-free ketchup, whatever you fancy, guacamole. The sky is the limit. Very portable too. Hard-boiled eggs, whether you peel them ahead or not, pop a few into a zip-top bag and go on your way, or stick them in a plastic container and get in your car to go. Very doable. Number 9, cheese. And if you go with the pre-wrapped cheese sticks or a little bag of cheese cubes, even better, because it's portion controlled. Cheese is an excellent, very low carb, high fat, sort of moderate protein snack. But cheese is a very common trigger food. Hello, guilty as charged. And so if it's pre-portioned, you have less of a potential issue, versus if you grab that block of smoked Gouda or that, brick of really sharp cheddar and you sit in front of the TV and it's just you, the cheese, and a knife, and before you know it, 3/4 of the block is gone. What happened? Cheese is absolutely permitted on low carb and keto diets, but it it is a very high fat item, and overdoing these types of items is a very common reason for slow or stalled weight loss on a keto diet. So I wish I could tell you that cheese was unlimited. It's not. So cheese does make an excellent snack, particularly if it's not a trigger for you, or if it is, just either buy them pre-portioned, or if you have it at home, portion it out yourself, cut it into certain pieces and package it yourself. Moving along to number 8, olives. Olives are kind of contentious. I actually know some people that don't like olives. I love them. Any kind, any shape, any variety, I love them all. And they're very nice because they're kind of this little morsel, like, ooh, it feels like a snack, right? It's these little bits of things. And so another nice thing about olives is that they tend to be very salty. And we all know how important salt is on a keto diet, or if you didn't, you're hearing it now. Salt is very, very important when you're on an extremely low carb diet. They're also kind of briny, vinegary, and some people claim that that type of strong flavor can actually crush a sugar craving. Like if you're craving sugar, opt for something very strongly flavored with something else, like this salty, briny. Some people will say a very sharp cheddar cheese. So anyway, olives, you can even find these at gas stations. Now, some gas stations and convenience stores have these little refrigerated packs of olives. How great is that? Moving on to number 7, how about pork rinds? Olives are great, cheese is great, eggs are great. Sometimes you want something crunchy. You want that crispy. And frankly, the crunch of celery is not the same. You want crispy, like you want chip crispy crunchy, and pork rinds fit that bill. Again, something you can get anywhere, any supermarket, any gas station, convenience store. My advice would be to stick with ones that are plain, like no seasoning, no flavoring, only because a lot of the flavorings can have some questionable ingredients. Some of them even have sugar. They might have sugar, they might have cornstarch. The reality is, a tiny bit of that stuff is fine. I would rather you have barbecue pork rinds or, hot and spicy pork rinds than reach for a candy bar. But if you are ultra sensitive to those types of ingredients, or you just prefer to avoid those kinds of additives or sugar in any form as much as possible, then just stick to the plain varieties. They might be fried in some questionable oil, and I know that's a very contentious issue in the keto world. If your pork rinds were made with like soybean oil or canola or whatever, again, you do you. There are brands that use lard. There are brands that use other kinds of fats that you might be more comfortable with. They're going to be a lot more expensive. If that's not an issue for you, no problem. Again, if pork rinds are not like a mainstay staple of your diet that you're eating a ton of every day, if you're just snacking on them once in a while, I don't think the oils are really that big a deal. And pork rinds, you can eat them by themselves right out of the bag. You can dip them in guacamole, dip them in French onion dip, homemade cauliflower hummus, whatever you fancy. Pork rinds, just a really nice way to get that crunch without the carbs. Moving on to the number 6 great low carb or keto snack. How about sliced cucumbers? That's kind of a big departure from pork rinds. You don't get too much different in sort of texture and I don't know, experience on your palate between salty, crispy, crunchy pork rinds and kind of cool, crunchy, refreshing, watery cucumber. And cucumber, it's practically zero carb. It is so much water. I haven't looked up the percent. It's got to be like 97% water. And you can eat them by themselves, slice up or chunk it up, or put, cream cheese on it. If you're feeling extra fancy, get like some smoked salmon spread and make these, keto canapes if you really want to be really fancy. Or put in caviar if you have that kind of money. That's a pretty fancy thing to put on a cucumber, on a dollop of, cream cheese or goat cheese or anything like that. Or top it with guacamole, top it with whatever you like. Top it with prosciutto. Like prosciutto wrapped melon is a pretty fancy, snazzy appetizer sometimes. You could do that with the cucumber round. And how about you? Before I get to snacks 5 through 1, do you snack on any of those? Have I missed anything? What are your favorite low carb or keto snacks? Before we get to number 5, remember, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more cool keto tips. All right, moving along to snack number 5, zero sugar jerky or meat sticks. Years ago, it was almost impossible, if not outright impossible, to find zero sugar jerky and meat sticks. Now, they're pretty popular. You can find them again in most gas stations, most convenience stores, most supermarkets. Of course, you can order online, you can get anything online. Sometimes the zero sugar stuff is more expensive. Let me give you a pro tip. You are worth it. You are worth the extra money. Your health is worth the extra money. Your mental health, your well-being, you are worth it. But what could be better for a low-carb keto diet? Basically, zero sugar. It's just fat and protein. There's a lot of different varieties available now, so just look for the ones that work best for you. And kind of, I'm going to call this like 5A and B. That was A, 5B, because it's kind of in the same category, zero carb, animal protein type product, canned fish. Canned seafood, whether that's salmon, sardines, tuna, mackerel, in a can or in those pouches. The pouches, what an incredible, convenient grab-and-go snack, right? If you have a fork handy, a fork or spoon or something, pop it open and go to town wherever you are. You might think, well, that's weird. Is that a snack? Is a can of sardines a snack? Yeah, it kind of is. If you look at the calories in it or the amount of food, that's not a meal. A can of sardines or a can of tuna, at least for me, that's not a full meal. I would absolutely consider that a snack. So again, basically zero carb, lots of protein, some fat, depending on what kind of fish you have. So zero sugar meat, zero sugar fish, good to go. Snack number 4, pepperoni and cheese. We can't have the pizza crust anymore, but we can have the toppings, including pepperoni. Pepperoni is like a tried and true sort of beloved old school low carb snack. And I'm doing this like old school beloved because I've been eating a low carb diet for a really long time, even before social media existed, before YouTube existed, before Instagram, Reddit, X, all those things. And so pepperoni, again, very economical, very convenient, basically zero sugar. Even if it's cured with a tiny amount of sugar or dextrose, I consider that to be negligible. I wouldn't even bother worrying about it or counting it. They make turkey pepperoni. If you keep kosher or follow the laws of halal and you don't eat pork, you can find turkey pepperoni, still good protein and fat. You can eat it by itself, or you can dip pepperoni in guacamole or dip it in, sour cream or something, some French onion dip, or make little sandwiches. How about a little kind of thin square of cheese in between 2 slices of pepperoni? Make yourself a little pepperoni and cheese sandwich, poor man's charcuterie. You could also pop those in the microwave. Microwaved pepperoni, again, old school, low carb, crispy trick. If you don't like pork rinds, but you want that crispy crunch, you put some pepperoni slices on a paper towel and you microwave them until crispy. Low carb snack number 3, celery. I know, it's like, what? Celery? Blech. Man, like that was from my low fat days when I just ate rice cakes and cottage cheese and celery. Blech. Listen, if you are a celery hater, no problem. You don't have to eat celery. But celery, kind of like cucumber, very crunchy, crispy, refreshing, cooling, and practically zero carbs. It does have some. I mean, it is a vegetable, but again, it's like 99% water. And it's something that you can really fill up on for basically zero carbs, zero fat. It's like filling up on water or air, darn near. And you can have them plain. You can fill them with nut butter or with cream cheese or with guacamole. I don't know why I'm on like a guacamole kick today right now, but if you just don't want them plain. And again, like the cheese, I got a caution with the nut butters. Nut butter is totally fine on keto unless it's not for you. We're getting close to the end here. Snack number 2, dark chocolate. What? Listen, sometimes you just need some chocolate. And could you white knuckle through and just not have it? Yeah, but if you are really, really craving chocolate, I would rather you actually have the chocolate and have a little bit than tell yourself that you can't have the chocolate or you shouldn't have the chocolate and end up eating 76 other things trying to get that flavor, that texture, trying to satisfy that desire. And meanwhile, you've eaten those things and you still want the chocolate. So why not just have it? And the reality is, if you choose a high cocoa percentage chocolate, they're actually pretty low in carbs. and pretty high in fat. If you go, at least 85% cocoa, now it's easy to get 88%, 90%. I think I once saw like a 95%. I don't know. At least in the US. I don't know what's available outside the US, but pretty easy to find very high percentage cocos. And if you can have 1 or 2 squares, that's really still pretty low carb. Coming up, number 1, leftovers. Leftovers, hello. This is like the number 1 keto trick I can give you for convenience. What did I say earlier in this video? A snack is really just a small meal. So a snack could be anything you would have for a meal, just eat a much smaller amount of it. You could snack on meatloaf. You could snack on chicken thighs. You could snack on meatballs. You could snack on leftover fish. You could snack on leftover roasted vegetables. I tell people, in fact, I did a video a long time ago about food prep, and it is probably one of my favorite videos I've ever done on this channel. We'll drop a link in the notes, talking about massive food prep and cooking in bulk, cooking in advance, cooking in large quantities. Because that way, when you get home from work and you're tired and you're stressed out and the last thing you want to do is first start cooking from scratch, well, great. Maybe you cooked 4 pounds of chicken tenders or chicken breast the other day, or you cooked 6 steaks. So great, I can reach into the fridge, grab myself a steak and just gnaw on it, or cut it into strips, eat it cold, dipped into horseradish sauce, dipped into blue cheese. Cold steak with blue cheese dressing, yes, please. Maybe that's not your thing. Find out what your thing is. A cold chicken breast, again, cut it up, dip it in ranch dressing, dip it in your preferred type of yummy low-carb dip. That really, truly is the ultimate low-carb or keto snack, is anything you would have any other time of day for a meal and just eat a smaller amount of it. So that's it. Those are my top 10 snacks to help you stay away from sugar and stay on track with a low-carb or keto diet. What about you? Do you eat any of those? Did I miss your favorite snack? Tell me. What did I forget? What are the big key things that help you stay on plan that I maybe didn't even mention here? And remember, the key isn't to rely on willpower. The key is to eat in such a way that you don't need willpower, right? Set yourself up for success. Feed yourself in a way that keeps you satiated, that keeps cravings at bay, so you don't need to muster any willpower. You're just happy eating yummy, delicious, satisfying foods. If you found this video helpful, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you'll get notifications when I have new videos. And if you know someone who is wanting some practical, down-to-earth advice about a low-carb keto diet, or they're just looking to maybe get off sugar, feel free to send them this link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And you know what? I ask you to promise me every time. Until next time, keep the crazy out of your keto.